Crossings. Paranormal Crossings.
Hello, welcome to Paranormal Crossings. I'm Aaron Collins.
And I'm Elise Wells.
And we're both with NW Paranormal Investigative Team. And we're here today. Our guest is all the things that that we brought to talk about.
Boo.
And Boo, the Boo doll. We should have mic'd Boo.
Yeah, we should have.
So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our investigations. We have some clips from past investigations that we've done. And we also have some clips from Edgefield investigation that we did not that long ago. So before that, let's talk about what happened over the week. We had Peter Holden, actor extraordinaire.
Extraordinary.
Yes.
He was awesome.
He was great.
He was so awesome.
And he had the premiere for his movie Alien Abduction, which premiered last Friday. Which
you went to.
I did, and it was fantastic. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who loves the paranormal or even the kind of boo, oh, no offense, boo, scary type of show. It was well done, well written, well shot, and it definitely, you can go to Amazon.com or even iTunes to download or rent the movie. So anyway, other than that,
Yes.
you had some hair trouble. Of course, I got to bring it up on camera. Come on.
God,
Yeah,
stop.
me too. I mean, I tried coloring it, but you know.
I'm going to look like you next time I come back on. It's so much easier just to do it bald, I think.
That's right. Hey, you know what? Once you go bald, you never go back. So, you know how much money I save, seriously, on hair products? I don't have to
no
buy
products?
anything.
Right.
Yeah, I buy a stick of soap, and that's it, and then I'm done. You know,
Jealous.
just wash and dry, wash and dry.
jealous.
Yes, isn't it wonderful?
It is. It is.
So, Elise and I have known each other for about 15 years. About 15 years ago, Elise came to my house, and it was haunted. And I didn't realize at the time that you were a psychic, and I had brought up the house and what was going on while you were in the house, and then you had told me why it's haunted, what's going on.
Right.
And I was so intrigued by the fact that you were a psychic. And I remember you brought me books, and really you piqued my interest. I already had the interest in paranormal, but you piqued my interest. And from that point on, you actually set me up to go on my first investigation. And that's what opened the doors for me. So later on, I ended up forming NW Paranormal Investigative Team, which Elise and I both are part of. And I'm the lead investigator and co-founder. Elise is the psychic medium investigator. I have to throw investigator because that's part of your job as well. And so maybe if we can, why don't you tell me or tell them a little bit about how that works for you on an investigation?
Well, we have done one investigation all together, our group and I.
This is the newly formed NW Paranormal,
That's
but the two of us have done many investigations in the past. So yeah,
right.
so anyways, but you're new to the table.
Well, I
new to
kind
the team.
of just feel off of the whole team, you know, depending on what the team is feeling. If they feel something, you know, again, it's this one thing I always say is that we all have intuitive nature.
Right.
We all have the ability. I mean, yours has developed more and more, developing that sixth sense. You get kind of an idea of where you want to go. You know, I usually don't do a lot of research into the place that we're going and kind of just let it move me. So by doing that, then I can kind of get an idea of, you know, feeling things or hearing things, and you know. But you know, like we did last time, I didn't do a lot of research.
Right.
And I said I really don't need to know much.
Right. Well, and as an investigator, I mean, I use different tools such as the EMF detector, the K2 meter, digital recorders, the night vision cameras, and really you are all those things wrapped up into one.
Sure.
And so, which I still find absolutely fascinating and such a huge asset to our team, because you can offer insight that maybe our instruments and tools don't pick up or can't register for whatever reason. So.
Well, and I brought tonight, of course, I always go into everything rogue. I
Mm.
don't go into information, but a lot of things that people will use to entice spirit is, of course, crystals are always, different kind of crystals represent different kind of things. We've got the incense here, and we've got candles. Candle colors mean
Right.
something different. Red candle means love. A white candle is purity.
Hmm.
Then different, and I'll show everybody a little.
I got to
bit.
smell that again.
That sage.
Sage, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
just love
you
the
can,
smell of
You
that
can
sage.
make this by yourself.
So what exactly does the sage do by burning it?
The sage just cleanses, and I mean you
Mhm.
can take it around yourself. Usually when I'm in the house, I'll take it around the corners of the house, and if you have a feather, a bigger feather than this is
Okay.
the only feather I could find.
It's the baby feather.
It's the baby feather, but you can blow it into the corners of
Why a feather?
because it gives it oxygen.
Okay.
Now, a disclaimer on this.
Okay.
This stuff burns very hot.
Mm.
So you want to start it somewhere outside. You want to blow on it a little bit, and you want to have something. And they make shells and stuff that you can smudge them out.
Oh.
Smudge yourself out when you walk out of your door. Smudge your door, and then smudge yourself off,
Mm.
and it'll help cleanse. But when you have it around furniture and stuff, if you're going too fast or if it's burning too hot, it does just like little pieces are falling off.
Right.
The embers do fall off, so
Okay.
you want to be really careful. And there's different books out there. I brought, the Smudging and Blessing book. This is a kind of a fun one. It's got easy stuff, and it just talks about how to put these things together. And
you can just buy this at any bookstore,
yeah,
local bookstore, or online.
Any bookstore
Okay.
or online, and you just can go and you can make your own
Mhm.
special ones. The one that you want to, then you want to use what did I put down here? The scared sweetgrass. That brings in the positive energy. So once you sage, then you take the sweetgrass and you go through and you clean it up. But a lot of people
Mhm.
like to use the incense to get,
Which is this here?
yeah, that's one.
Okay.
And then you've got the cones, and you can put the cones in here.
Oh, patchouli.
Yeah, and you can.
Okay.
Maybe that's what you were smelling that you
Huh.
said you liked so much. And then you
Oh
can
my
put
gosh, yes.
oils
It's powerful.
into this, and it simply uses just a candle.
Now, what is all this for? What exactly does all this stuff do? I mean, obviously, there's with all the different things. There's the sage will cleanse,
Yeah,
and then
hydrant
actually getting back to the cleansing, when you burn the sage and you use the feather, which you said gives oxygen and spreads the smoke
Right.
from the sage. Do you have to have? Isn't it a window or a door open to lead whatever out, or how does that work?
I never have.
Okay.
I just keep everything closed up and go around.
Okay.
And the thing is that we bring home energy in our house.
Hmm.
We bring home energy on us. We bring things home. Sometimes we have things in the house. And this is a good investigative tool
Mhm.
to go through and cleanse somebody's house,
Mhm.
to promote, some peace and harmony. And sometimes you can get rid of the littler troublemakers
Right.
easily.
Little ankle biters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by doing it this way.
Okay.
So it's kind of a quick, cleanse. Of course, salt, and I was going to bring salt, but salt is wonderful. You put salt in front of the doors. It kind of promotes out the negative. Now, remember in one of our radio shows, I was telling you that I had talked to a shaman
Mhm.
at one of the stores I like to go to, and he had told me that if I buried a quartz crystal, which you can get, you spilled this water.
I
before the
did.
show.
I spilled a little bit of water on
You're
the
in a
table.
pool of water.
Yeah, they're swimming.
You take the quartz crystal and you bury it in each corner of your property,
Okay.
and it promotes good energy
Okay.
to your home. So these are all kinds of things, like for us to go out on an investigation, and we want to make sure we also leave them with good energy. We're cleansing. This is another good tool, is to bury things that are good.
Hmm.
Another thing that a lot of people don't know about is that your crystals, along with your jewelry, will get residual on them. And you do want to take a little bit of salt water.
Residual energy.
Residual energy. You want to take a little bit of salt water and soak them for 32 to 72 hours.
Wow.
I mean, you can imagine the rings you've been wearing, you know, how many years you've been wearing it and how much energy you've put into that stone. And we don't take it off to clean it.
Right.
So to promote back the good energy from your stones, you want to clean them
Okay.
and get good energy back into them. A lot of people use a cross when it comes to investigations. One of the best things, that's a good thing to
The
have
Bible.
an investigation.
Yes. I always carry a Bible with me when I do investigations. And
Bring
so,
a little,
yes, bring God with me.
yeah,
And I like to pray
cameras,
as well.
if we want to do like selfies, or,
Selfies with the ghostes,
and then of course, Aaron.
so we can communicate in
Aaron, can you hear me?
large places. Yes,
Aaron, is this working?
I think so.
Aaron, I think I've got a spooky down in the basement here. Oh,
It's Boo
it's
instead.
a kitty.
Yeah.
It's a kitty. Okay. So those are kind of fun things. A lot of other things too that they'll use is they'll use the tarot cards.
Now we're not saying that we use all this stuff on investigations.
These are
but
25 years old, these ones.
Wow.
And I've had them in the drawer because I just I don't need them anymore. They were fun.
well, they're just a little bit older than me, so
They
yeah.
were fun during
That's
the
good.
time. Another thing that's been around for 2,000 years.
Yes, this is interesting to me.
Okay, this is a pendulum.
Okay.
And you can make your own pendulum. And when you were holding it, now what I like to do is I like to ask for a good spirit to come through and to guide me, to give me some good energy. So then I'll ask it a question and I'll say, now yes, it circles for yes, and it goes back and forth for no, which is so funny. When I say it, it does it. And then when it doesn't know, it will just shake, just kind of stay in the. It's very interesting. They talk about having you keep the stone with you at all times. You can pull it out and use it on anything. You can use it on things that you want to know a yes or no answer on.
Wow.
You can also, we talk about the Ouija boards.
Yes.
You can also just draw a picture on a piece of paper and put yes, no, certain things you want to know, and use your pendulum to. They banned these. The Roman Catholics, I think, were the ones that took these away for a long time and thought that they were. But they've been around for like 2,000 years. People have been using, and they use pieces of wood. They'll use pieces of, just a piece of string. There's all different kinds of ways to make it. And simple, easy, can give you yes or no answers. Of course, you don't want to guide your whole life by it, but
Right.
if you're kind of in a pickle and you're like, well, should I go to the grocery store or not? And then it says no. I say, okay, good. Well, then I don't have to go to the grocery store.
Am I going to get $1 million today?
I did bring one more thing with me.
Okay.
That
Now,
we've been talking about.
which this is the disclaimer part. We in no way recommend people using this.
But we talk about it so much on our shows.
We've talked about it so much on the show. We didn't bring a pink one because I refused to go buy one. But
now this one is very old.
okay.
Okay. So this is the one this one glows in the dark. And as you notice, for the respect of those people, I did not bring the board. I just brought the gizmo, and you can actually get this thing.
The gizmo. Was it planchette?
Yeah, the planchette.
Planchette.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
But I'm gonna tell you, nowhere on this thing. Oh, and I have to tell you too, the pendulum. You close out the session. Bring it down and say thank you very much. For your information.
Now, is that just as dangerous as using the Ouija board? I mean, what is the difference really?
Honestly, I don't think it's different.
Okay.
But I don't think anything can come into this.
Okay.
I mean, it's such a small item, and you're asking more yes or no questions. On this one.
Can I see it?
Yeah. On this one, it tends to get a little bit more controversial because there are no disclaimers on this that tell you, it says ask yes or no questions, ask things you want to know. It will spell things out for you. And what's the age level on it? 8.
8. There's
8 or older.
Yes.
So, like we say, and we've said so many times before.
Yes, please do not try that. I don't recommend trying that.
If you
unless you know what you're doing.
If you want to use a Ouija board or Ouija board, then you ask it yes or no questions that are general questions. You ask it, don't ask when somebody's passed away, and close the session out. And be thankful, and don't ask for anything evil to come in.
I think that's the biggest mistake that people make with the Ouija boards. is that they don't close it out. They open a doorway or they open whatever it is, a portal, and then whatever comes through, anything can come through, and then they don't close it out. And so then all of a sudden they've got problems.
But I will tell you that a lot of investigative teams do use this as a way to understand, say they don't have a psychic.
We don't use them though.
No, but
Yes.
others will use, and people will conduct their own seances
Right.
to try to find out what's going on in the home.
Right.
Innocent enough, but dangerous in the same respect.
Right.
One of our last guests that we had a couple times back,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in conjuring up
Mm-hmm.
anything that doesn't need to be ruffled up.
Right.
I'm really about positive, good energy and promoting love and happiness and trying to find out really the inspiration of why the spirit is still connected to the land or the person, where it's come from. Is it in an item? Is it in something that we need to, get from the home or bless?
Right.
Instead of going to look for evil.
Right.
I mean, if you go look for evil, you're going to find evil. And you're not going to be able to get rid of it.
Right.
I mean, it's going to take a lot to get rid of it.
It's difficult. It's not as, they portray the ghost hunting shows and things like that as, oh my gosh, it's just so easy to get rid of these evil entities. But
well, and in so many ways they invite them. I mean, they,
Yeah.
come
the
talk to
taunting,
me.
yeah.
Come talk to me.
Yeah.
Come show yourself.
Right.
It's like,
I just don't believe in taunting. I mean, I go into every investigation with respect. I respect the spirit that's there. I respect the location and the homeowners or whatever the case may be. And I think that's why.
you certainly don't want to leave them with more than what they already started with.
No. Here. Sorry about all the evil spirits in your house. We're leaving.
Right. Right.
But thanks for the
Yeah.
investigation. We appreciate it. No. And with that said, we are contacted quite a bit by people who have problems in their homes, and chances are, some of them have kids who have problems with seeing entities, and they're terrified to be in their own homes. And so, if you have a problem and you would like us to come and do an investigation, then please call the number that, it's not on the screen now, but 971-295-8558. And we will be more than happy to sit down and talk with you about the things that are going on in your home. We take this very seriously, and we try to help. That's what we do. And through the tools that we use for the investigation, we try to help. And you have the ability to cleanse and to get rid of whatever may be there.
I have many people who have contacted me about their children. I have a huge fascination in giving children understanding, giving them peace of mind of the things that are happening to them. It's been a long fight for myself as a child growing up in this, that it's scary.
Yeah.
And when you can tell a child that it's okay, then it's to see that relief in their face and to know, and having them explain, the thing that a lot of parents will forget to keep in mind is that, oh, there's nothing under your bed,
Right.
Oh, you're not seeing anything on the wall. Oh, there's nothing in your closet, Monsters Inc.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right.
So, but it's not, but that's what the child's seeing. And that's what the child believes they're seeing. And
Yeah.
so somewhere it's true.
Mm.
So I like working with the children, and I like hearing them explain in their stories.
Right.
And seeing what you can do to give them.
My own kids have
Yeah.
seen things, and
I've worked with your.
yeah, and
your
you've worked
kids.
with one of my kids, and
He's more fascinated now.
he
than
is.
He is
He's
afraid.
he isn't as afraid as he was.
No.
Before he didn't understand,
Right.
and so now I think, and the more he works with you, the more he'll understand and be able to cope with what the gift that he has.
Exactly.
And so,
Because a lot of times the reason why these children are being attacked
Mhm.
is because, one, they're vulnerable, and two, they're so open and they're so pure that their purity is what
right.
they like.
And isn't it that spirit sees, oh, there's a funnel, there's a way for me to communicate,
Yeah.
and then they keep knocking on that door, with that child being, showing their presence or moving
Absolutely.
things to get their attention, maybe things that we can't really see. Maybe some of the rest of us.
Absolutely.
So the other tools that we have, well, let me announce a couple of other members of our awesome team. Adam Olson, he's been with me since the beginning, and he is our technical supervisor. And then Richard Andrews, who is our technical manager. And what they do is they run all the technical equipment. So they run the infrared night vision cameras. They do all the setup. Of course, we help. But we also use EMF detectors, which puts out an electric magnetic field. And then anything that manipulates that or blocks that will come up on the meter, as well as a K2 meter as well. And it's great. It's nice to have those tools, but again, it's also nice to have our bodies as a tool and use our bodies as a tool, because I know from past experience going into haunted locations that we can feel it, you know, and sometimes it's just a blast of energy, or at least for me, from what I have found. And so, anyways.
I can understand that. Sometimes you can smell things. Sometimes I've got a gal at work, and she says, I keep smelling coffee. But then it disappears. And
Right.
I said, well, is there somebody you remember that smelled like coffee?
Right.
And she was trying to think.
Or that
back.
really enjoyed drinking coffee.
Right, or that there was an aroma of coffee, because a lot of times when spirits are trying to kind of come in and say hi to you, there will be a distinct, maybe a perfume or something that reminds you
Okay.
of. But you do have to think back in the memory banks a little bit. You
Right.
can't just be like, oh, it was just, just this. I mean, you might be in a coffee shop, so that
Right.
might be why you're smelling coffee. So you
Right.
do have to logically.
Deductive reasoning.
Exactly.
Right. Well, if you would like to call into the show and talk to myself or Elise, the number here is 503-667-7555. And we'll be more than happy to answer your questions, or even if you're having an issue or a problem you would like us to address, and you can contact us in the studio, and then we can talk to you privately after the show. Well, we've got some clips from some investigations. Unfortunately, you weren't a part of those investigations, but the last one that we're going to talk about, you were. And it was a private residence that contacted us in St. Helens, Oregon. And the claims were that there were banging noises inside the house, and they couldn't figure out where the noises were coming from. It was a married couple. They didn't have any children, and so it was just the two of them in the house. They had a couple of dogs, but there was just loud banging, and then they would see shadows and things going across the rooms and out of the corner of their eyes. And so it was really the wife who was really experiencing these things a lot, and the husband's kind of, oh, well, it's a car going by, or oh, well. So we decided to come in after talking to her, and let's play a couple of the audio clips, and we turned it kind of into a video, so it's got some replay to it. And okay, so on that clip, what happened was at some point into the investigation, I had myself and the team leave the house, and we were in a van. We sat in the van for about half an hour, and we left the night vision camera and audio recorder, digital audio recorder, set up while we were outside. So this is what we captured, these loud banging noises. And I mean, it just, when we reviewed the footage, the audio, it was intense. I mean, and it really doesn't do the sound any justice, obviously, through television, but it is loud.
Right.
And it sounds, and this was an older home. I think it was built in 1915 or 1920, somewhere around there. And it was all hardwood floors going up the steps. And it sounded literally like either somebody was banging with a hammer or someone was stomping up and down those steps. It was intense. So, and in that investigation, I had some extra people with me, and I took my two sons, Zachary and Cale. Zach's my oldest son, and while we were in there, he and I were in a particular bedroom that had a lot of claims from the homeowners of having different activity, voices and things like that. So we have an audio clip for that too, and you'll see what it says. Show us the clip. And here we're just setting equipment up. That's the clicking and stuff.
Did you do a reading right here?
No, that's my son's name. That was the first time he had ever been on an investigation with us. And when I reviewed the audio and caught that, he started tearing up when I played it for him. He said, "Dad, they're calling me out." And so he was a little freaked out by it, but
Well, sure, I would be too.
oh yeah, he was a
Yeah.
little nervous about it. And so anyway, so we have a couple of more audio clips from the St. Helens investigation. The next one, no clips. Okay. One clip. Okay. Is it the basement or? Okay.
Isolated from the heat. So. Yeah.
Now, of course, with any EVP, which is electric voice phenomenon, we don't capture, oftentimes we don't capture it live, like with our own ears. It's captured later on digital recordings, or even sometimes the microphones on the cameras will pick it up. And so we did not hear that at the time, but it says, "You're in trouble." That was, you know, I think the other part to that clip, I don't think that we have today, but it was, "Get out of here, you're in trouble." And
So it really didn't like your presence being there.
no, it didn't. And the thing, at that particular investigation, I really didn't feel that there was a negative energy in the house. It didn't feel like it to me. Now, we had a different psychic investigator that was with us, and we knew, she didn't know, but we knew that there was a gentleman who passed away from a heart attack in the front yard. It was a friend of the original owners of that house. And apparently he was a school teacher in town, and he showed up to just to visit and just had a massive heart attack in the front yard.
Wow.
Now, of course, the psychic did not know any of that information. We did not disclose anything about the house. We didn't even tell her where it was. We just said, "Get in the van, we're going to go for a ride."
Yeah.
She knew we were going on an investigation. But so she walked around the house, and then I kid you not, she said, "I need to go outside for a minute." And I said, "Okay." So she went outside, and she was out there for maybe 5-10 minutes, came back in, and she said, "Someone died of a heart attack in the front yard." Now, this was when the homeowners came back home, and she said this in front of them, and they already knew this because they had told us about it. Oh my gosh. I mean, just to pick something like that up was, to me, amazing.
Sure.
So anyway, so I don't know who that was in the house. And again, and these people, they didn't want us to get rid of whatever was there. It was just more of, they just wanted to capture some evidence of the things that were going
I'll
on.
tell you, if I had something like that in my house, I'd say, get it out of here. I mean,
Move it along.
move it along.
Roll in,
you
roll
know.
in, roll
Well, I
in.
did. I had that girl in my house.
Yeah,
And when she stood over me and screamed at me, I was done.
yeah.
I said, that was it. I said, get out of my house.
Well, tell that story.
Oh my gosh, I was remodeling my home,
Is this
and
recently?
a couple years back,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sleeping in the garage because all my stuff was in the garage and the couch was in
I've
the
heard of the
garage.
doghouse, but the garage? Wow.
And I knew there was a little girl presence with a cat.
Mhm.
She had a little cat with her, and she was real nice at first. I mean, real kind of friendly, kind of curious. And then, as the more the house got remodeled, the more angry she became. And I could feel her and kind of pushes on me and kind of, things getting tripped up. I started cutting my hands open and destructive projects started to seem to be happening. And I was laying on the couch and it was a really hot day and I had kind of woken up and I just saw her laying right over the top of me. Just
Like her face right there in your face?
Her whole body, and just screaming. And I go, it's time for you to go.
Wow.
You're not welcome here anymore. You need to leave.
Mm.
And I don't remember her being there after that.
Wow.
So,
Get out.
get out.
Well, and we've got audio. We've got so many different audio evidence from past investigations where we actually have captured voices saying "get out," and so of course we don't hear it at the time until we review the
And that's
evidence.
what you're saying,
But
get out.
and we're like, well, no, you get out. You're not wanted here. So, and then there's some people who are okay with the things that are happening in their home. Not everybody wants to get rid of the spirit or entity or whatever's happening. They like, for whatever reason, they feel comfortable with it, and they want to leave it.
Well,
And so, which is fine.
It's kind of like David. He always has lots of spirit
Mhm.
going on, and he has personalities for all his spirits and
Hmm.
names and so
Right.
identities and a lot of times if it's grandma, some people don't want it. They don't have to get rid of that energy. You don't have to get rid of it. You can hold on to it. So
Exactly. Well, the other thing that we have another investigation that we did. But before that, if you would like to call in and talk to Elise or myself, or you even have or you even want to talk to Boo, or you have a comment, then please call the studio at 503-667-7555. Boo Freaky Doll, I love it.
I actually bought this for my daughter for Christmas, and she hides this
That
in
was
her
great.
drawer. And so
She hides it in the drawer.
So I go in, and I said, "Oh my gosh, isn't this like the cutest thing ever? It's Boo." And she goes, "Mom, that is really creepy."
That's the creepy, the Boo,
And
the Freaky Boo doll.
So I go in
That's
to
funny.
look into her bedroom, and I always put Boo on her dresser. She's got a little button in her stomach. That's why she keeps making noise. But so I'll set her really neatly on her dresser, and then I come back
Boo
in
Freaky
after
doll.
she's been there, and it's stuffed in a drawer again under her
That's
clothes.
hilarious. Whose is it? Emily's?
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
gosh.
Emily's. I know she's probably too old for a Boo doll, but.
You're never too old for a Boo doll. Come on.
Oh yeah, come on. If you can
All
have
right.
kiss stuff.
That's
know,
right. Hey, now you're talking my type
your
of
Lango.
action figure. It's not a doll, okay? It's an action figure.
Do you know how many
Okay,
times
so
I've tried to heat? I don't remember what this crystal is, but some of
Wow,
them
that's
you
heavy.
can. Yeah, but you can heat them up. These are
really.
These ones are shaman
Oh.
shaman
Mhm.
balls, basically.
Okay.
And this one, I'll have to do this one on you, is the yin and the yang.
Okay.
So you can set it on your belly, and
Uh-huh.
you can actually feel the energy change a little bit.
Really?
I think crystals are really good to use for promoting good energy, good healing, good things. You really can't go too bad with a crystal.
This is pretty cool.
I know, but you
So-
try to hold on to that and heat that bad boy up. It's almost impossible.
Yes. Let's talk about Edgefield.
Let's talk about it.
So Edgefield is a hotel that the McMinimans brother bought. It used to be the Multnomah County Poor Farm back in the day, and Since then, it was vacant for many, many, many years, and the McMinimans brothers
love that
bought it
place.
and turned it into a hotel.
That's my favorite place.
It's incredible. I love that place.
That's
The
why
energy there is great, I
we
think.
always meet there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When we have our paranormal meetings for our group and for the show, we go
All different places.
to Edgefield McMinimans, yeah, in Troutdale, Oregon.
You
And
can't beat the food either, or the beer sampler.
oh, yeah, there you go. And so they have a lot of claims of paranormal activity by guests that have stayed in the hotel. And so we went and did an investigation back in February of this year, 2014. And, you know, it was fascinating. It was one of those places that seemed like it had so much going on, but it was hard to pinpoint exactly what was going on in any particular area. And so we had such a great time that night, and what we did was we walked around, and we had the K2 meter and the EMF detector, and which also had a temperature gauge in it. So it's important to know that when spirit manifests or tries to manifest, that they draw the energy and it drops the temperature of the area or the room that surrounds you, and so it's always kind of cool to be able to see that temperature drop on
Although we
an
were
instrument.
so surprised, considering the fact that you know, we had so much. There's so many stories. There's so many things that there really didn't feel like there was a lot going on that night.
Right.
I mean, there was some stuff,
Yeah.
but
Well, you know, Richard Andrews, who is in the control room now, and he's our technical manager.
I know that nobody can hear this, but the rain is just.
It's intense. It is loud.
Should I?
You know, is Boo scared? Yeah.
Boo's scared.
Boo scared. So Beaky, fruit Boo. Okay, so we have. Okay. Scary. I don't want to pull her hair. Okay, so we have
She's
the
sensitive.
investigation. And Richard Andrews, he had set up, we did another talk show at the time, and we had done the talk show, and then afterwards we grabbed the equipment and we ended up doing the investigation. And
My goodness.
we have some clips from the investigation, unless we have a tornado
Boy, it is
or a
coming
massive
down.
hurricane
It is
somew
really-
way here in Gresham, Oregon.
Yeah, we might have to take the boat
That's
out.
really intense.
Yeah, no, we will definitely have to take the boat out of here. I
You
think.
didn't see that coming?
Oh
No, I'm
my
just kidding.
gosh. Hey, I can predict earthquakes that are
All
far,
right.
far away,
All right.
but the weather.
So with this investigation, I stayed in one of the notoriously haunted rooms, which is room 215
Right.
at Edgefield, and I didn't experience anything at the time. Obviously, I was asleep, but what was captured on video, we'll play that as well. We also did an interview with the night auditor, Susan, and I think we're going to roll that clip and kind of show what some of the claims of activity that she has seen and encountered while working there in the past, I think, 14 years. And now here there's no sound, but this is the front of Edgefield, McMinimans, Edgefield, and Troutdale.
And that's where I had the picture of the woman up in the window.
Yes, in the very beginning, up at the top.
I went back, had this instinct to go back, and I took this picture, and I captured a woman in the window.
Yeah, it was that, and I didn't see it right off the bat. It wasn't until you pointed it out, actually.
Oh, one of my Facebook friends.
Oh,
pointed it
okay.
out. I had just
You've worked here for how long?
So here's the interviews.
14 years.
14 years. And have you always done
Night audit.
Night audit
Mhm.
stuff? And then tell me about this guy over here.
And this happened a couple
Steve.
weeks ago.
Oh.
That's,
Hand
I'm
over
still
to it.
creeped out about that, right?
I remember that.
Oh,
That's. So it was this thing over here.
yeah, he's been here longer than I've been here.
Okay.
This was weird. The Black Rabbit bartender and server were checking out for the night, and they came through here, and they were in the back office, and I was here by myself, and it was a quiet night just like this. This is just been week before last. And they were like the only people that had come through here, and they were in the back counting their stuff. And I was standing right here with my pen and paper writing notes to myself, which I do often, especially on slow nights, so I don't forget to do things. And I'm writing like this, and from the corner of my eye, I see movement, and I, immediately think that it's somebody walking in, and I'm looking, and he is moving probably like this,
Wow.
but not quite going in a circle.
Wow.
And I look up and I see this, just about like he's doing now, and all of a sudden it gets furious. And I'm watching it, and he starts going this way, and he was going so fast, I mean, it was almost animated,
Wow.
that he flipped himself out. He came down, scooted this across, came back like this, and
What?
ended up underneath here by himself,
Oh
just like
my
that. And when
gosh.
he came out and crashed down, it was so loud. I
Wow.
grabbed my radio, which I generally always have with me, and I ran to the back, and I'm going, oh my God. And Rebecca, she comes, she goes, what was that? Because it was so loud.
Yeah.
And I told her, and that really, I don't usually get too freaked out, but that really freaked me out.
That's enough to freak me
Because
out.
it progressed
Hmm.
after it got my attention.
Now,
It
was this
progressed.
hanging here at the time? Do you recall?
I couldn't even tell you.
Huh. Do you have cameras in here pointing over here?
No.
No? Oh, that would have been great to catch.
Oh, that would have been wonderful
Oh,
to
my
catch.
goodness.
Yeah, because that was that definitely got my attention.
Well, I tell you, that gave me goosebumps while you were telling me that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Now this is leading up to the room that I stayed in that night, which is room 215. They nicknamed Amazing Grace. And of course, there I am, my big bald head, sleeping. And this was about 3:20 in the morning, almost 3:20 in the morning. And if you'll notice here in a moment, it's going to get a little bit bigger here. You start seeing orbs.
Oh, yeah.
And I kid you not, it becomes like an orb shower over a little bit of time. And you can see I'm not, excuse me, I'm not moving. So I'm not stirring up dust or banging on the walls or hitting the pillow. I'm sound asleep. And you'll see some
Apparently.
really, you'll see some, look at that.
Oh.
And that. And then you'll see this crazy one with a tail. Look at that.
Oh. You know, we saw a lot of the tail ones too in that, what was that one building, the administrative building.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and we didn't bring any footage from that because the camera actually died while we were in that building. It just gets crazy. And then here you can see all 4 cameras. So you see the camera up at the left, the top left, you see that.
Oh.
And you can also see them. It's not just one camera. We've captured it on other cameras as well. And some we can see on one camera, but really not on another camera. Yeah, I like to call it the orb shower. I mean, that's just crazy. And some of the people who have written in the ghost log say things happen around 3:30 in the morning or approximately there. And here,
Right, that's the woman that bangs on the windows.
yeah,
Grabs at the feet.
right.
And then there is activity across that room in another room that's had it. And there's activity in the room next to it that's also had
214, yeah.
that had a lot of stories.
Well, and really, I heard noises from that room while I was in that room in 215 by myself. And when I was checking out the next day, I asked if anybody had checked that room in or checked into that room, and they said no, nobody was in that room that night. So, but I heard a lot of noises coming specifically from that room.
This was also a room that had been vandalized.
Yes, this is the one that had the pentagram on the floor when they came in to renovate and turn it into what it is today. They found all kinds of animals, yeah, candle wax everywhere. And I know at one time there was a bunch of empty old luggage that was found in a luggage room down in the basement area. I think next to the winery down there, whatever they call it, the wine
The pool,
tasting area.
Wasn't it like a pool hall?
No.
Now,
See,
the
look at
reason
that.
why this room got its name was because didn't they play with?
To cleanse the room and cleanse it of spirits, of evil spirits, they had a bagpipe player come in and play, and they played Amazing Grace. And so they ended up naming that room 215 Amazing Grace.
Right.
Which was, I love bagpipes. And it even says, it has the first couple of lines from the song painted on the wall.
And on the door it says Amazing Grace.
And on the doors, yes.
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal.
But I got to tell you, I was a little, I was a little freaked out. Here's why. When we did the interview with Susan down at the front counter, who was amazing, by the way, and the whole staff at Edgefield was amazing. They were overly accommodating. Anyways, when I was down there after I interviewed her, I looked through a ghost log. They keep a ghost log behind the counter. Originally, the original ghost log was stolen, unfortunately.
Right.
So they started keeping another one again. And it's basically just accounts of the guests that have stayed there in the past and what paranormal activity has happened in various rooms. 215 isn't the only haunted room in the hotel. And so I'm reading all these accounts of paranormal activity in room 215 at midnight. And I knew that once Richard Andrews was getting ready to leave with the camera, I'm going upstairs by myself and going into that room. Now, normally I'm the guy that goes into the deepest, darkest, scariest place, most haunted place, and doesn't have a problem with it.
You read too many
But
stories.
I read so many stories.
Yeah, you had read too much of the ghost
Oh, it
log.
creeped me out. So I literally walked into the room, and I heard on the digital recorder when I reviewed it, I go, okay, here we go. I was just prepared. I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah.
And I ended up forcing myself to stay up until about, I think it was like 2 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and I was blogging on Facebook about where I was and what we were doing and the whole bit. And so I didn't encounter anything while I was awake, but the things that were captured after I was asleep and was unaware, it was very cool.
Yeah.
And so what can you say about orbs?
Well, orbs they're very interesting. I mean, I've heard a lot of different theories about, they might be created by dust, they might be created by light, a reflection,
But aren't they
density?
Aren't they spirits that are trying to manifest? Is it just a ball of energy from spirit, or?
I would say more that it's a ball of energy.
Mm-hmm.
So whether there's a spirit involved in that or not, I'm not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it is an energy source, kind of. I guess we could all imagine that there's a little somebody in there going, I know, going around.
Right.
But there's a lot of different theories on orbs.
Right.
And a lot of people there are people out there that don't believe orbs make any difference at all. That they're
Before I started
They're just
investigating, I never
reflection.
even cared about orbs. I would watch the shows like everybody else watched, and I just could care less about orbs. But then as I started doing investigations and capturing these orbs on camera, it was very exciting for me. And that's why I had to do some research. And
I will tell you though that a camera, and you could probably agree with me on this one, is that doing it on your iPhone is certainly not.
Right.
I mean, you can't. You're going to capture a lot of other stuff that's coming in too. You want to have a good camera.
Yeah.
That you're capturing.
To take stills.
Yeah. That you're
Well, and there's so
capturing
much
these
equipment.
images.
Yeah, there's so much equipment that we don't have that I would love to have someday. So, Fleer, if you're watching, I would like a thermal camera. Thank you. A little plug there, but
your
also the
birthday.
full for my birthday, which is in August. I'll be 25, and so again, and so my kids are like, "Dad, you're twice that age." Anyways, but then there's also the full spectrum camera. I don't know if you've seen those, but those are another type of camera it just captures more of it. It's not thermal, so I don't know enough about it to explain it, but I would love to have one. And the things that it captures, it captures things that you can't see with the naked eye. And so kind of like the infrared, which we use a lot of. We have handheld infrared.
A lot of people will poo-poo the infrared or the, because of the energy. You know, if you're close to, don't put it close to an electrical box. Don't, get it close to something. Is there an electrical source? You
Right.
know, I kept getting yelled at for that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And that's another thing. We did an investigation in North Portland at a private residence, and there was high EMF ratings. I mean, it was just off the chart. Like, it was huge.
Right.
And it turns out it was their clock radios that were
see?
basically, they were on their nightstands next to their heads, and that's where they encountered a lot of visual paranormal activity. So people walking by, and with high EMFs, you're going to experience nausea, headaches, hallucinations. And so we recommended that they take those clock radios and remove them and maybe put them across the room and not have them next to their heads.
Sure.
And so, in which they did do that. And then they didn't have as many issues with that in that particular room. Now the house was haunted, and so.
But that's where, going out on these investigations is where you give people an idea
Right.
of what they're working with. You can give reason to things that are not reasonable
Right.
and help them, give them understanding so that they can create choice
Right.
in order to, and I think that's the wonderful part about having an investigative team
Right.
is that you're able to go in and give them some ideas about what's going on so they can make some choices.
Right. Well, and we have such a great team.
We do. We have
Three
an
of us.
awesome team.
Richard and Adam are both skeptics. Of course, when they
Of course,
find
they're the camera guys.
they're the camera guys, and so when they see evidence, then they're amazed. And that's the whole point. We don't go into every investigation thinking, oh my gosh, it's haunted, and we're going to get spirits, and we're going to get ghosts, and
You have to stay
blah, blah.
open.
We stay open, but I go into every investigation. I pray, and I ask for God's protection for whatever's there, and to protect the people there and the rest of us on the team. But I also go in with the notion
And
that
then we hear on one of the shows, it's me, I'm in the closet. I'm so scared, I can't come out.
that's right,
Aaron?
Special K.
Aaron,
Yeah.
is that you?
Exactly.
Is everything okay?
Why are you scared?
Side of the closet door.
I see dead people. And so we,
It's not
but
to
we,
joke about, but
well,
you have to have a sense of love and harmony and,
Right.
good energy.
and compassion for people,
Compassion, for sure. You
Yeah.
don't want to have, you don't come in there acting like, I'm doing the takedown.
Right.
I own this place.
Right.
You're getting out.
right.
But
Well, we treat every location and every home or business with respect,
absolutely.
and the spirit that's there. And so we are definitely go in as skeptics, and not to say that we don't believe what people are telling us.
No.
Because when a mother is crying and telling us that their 14-year-old daughter is terrified to be in the house because she sees this man in the house who's not a living person, we take that seriously.
And if
then
they
we
want,
look for
they want us to ask them to leave.
Right, and that's the whole point: is we can do the investigation, we can gather all the evidence, and then we present the evidence to the homeowner or the business owner or wherever it's at. And if they're wanting us to remove whatever it is, then we have techniques
Remove
that
it.
we use to remove them. And so again, if you're having problems in your home or your business or a location that you're having some paranormal activity in, then you can give us a call. And our number again is 971-295-8558. Again, the number is 971-295-8558. And we will be more than happy to talk to you, and we will help you out.
Well, we're also on Facebook,
Yes.
and we love to hear stories. We're looking for hosting a guest to come on to our show to tell us their experience about their paranormal
Yes.
encounters. So
Yes.
we want to have several guests on for one of our shows
Absolutely.
to have them talk about their experiences, give them a chance to be on TV.
It's always fun.
Yeah, so much fun.
Except for when your daughter was in here earlier, she was a little scared when Frank played a trick on her and said the cameras were rolling, and she ran and screamed.
Right.
But she forgot Boo.
I think she secretly wants to be on camera.
She probably does. Well, she's your daughter, so
Yeah. Exactly.
So
So, good thing for people to remember,
Yes.
cleanse your crystals, cleanse your jewelry, cleanse the
Okay,
things
and you said
wear.
soak it for 36 to
32
32 to 72 hours.
2 hours
In
some
hot
salt.
water?
No, just some room temperature water
Okay,
with a
so
little bit
just-
of salt in
okay.
it, and just
Any kind of salt, Epsom
Yeah.
salt?
yeah,
Okay.
just put a little salt in there.
Seasoning salt?
No seasoning salt.
Okay. Garlic
You
salt?
don't need it to smell
Okay.
spicy
Okay.
or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and give your jewelry included.
Okay.
Now, I mean, of course, don't put something like copper
Mm-hmm.
into salt.
Why is that?
I think it will change the
The
I think
color
there's
and
a-
texture?
well. There's a scientific compound that
Oh.
changes.
Okay.
You don't want to. But yeah, I mean, and the thing is, too, is they tell you that like stones. This little stone right here, this little ball, this thing cost me $30.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, crystals can be just as expensive as diamonds
Wow.
can be, and they can be just as rewarding too. And they can give you, you can feel good, and you can give, if you've got negative energy going on, you can give it to the stone,
Right?
and then soak it and clean it off, and it's just kind of goes away.
Awesome.
Don't ask me to do that again.
Do that again.
Do that again. So, who's on our show next week as we're rolling?
Oh
our,
my gosh.
rolling our
We
credits, but we know.
we
know this
have
longer.
oh yes. We've got such a great lineup. Next week we have author and historian Jefferson Davis. He's written countless books on the paranormal in Pacific Northwest. And I did a walking ghost tour with him in Vancouver at the beginning of this year. And he's just amazing. I'm very excited to have him on. I actually have some of his books. And anyways, and he was going to talk about all these different paranormal ghost locations in Oregon.
Well, we've got
Actually,
quite a
and it's not
lot.
just Oregon. He's done it for all through the Pacific Northwest. So he's done it from Canada down to Oregon, or Washington, Oregon, and California even. So it's pretty
We're
exciting.
haunted everywhere around
And
here.
then,
Yes.
drum roll, we will also be having Michael P. Jones from Shanghai Tunnels, which I am so stoked about. And
We can hardly wait.
I can hardly wait. Yes, he's such an awesome guy.
Well,
And he's
it's
so
about that
gracious
time-
enough to squeeze in the time to come and visit with us and share stories. And so it's exciting.
About that time of year for their tours to start.
It is. And so I'm thinking about just doing a tour before he ever comes onto the
Well,
show.
I hope you
So
plan on taking me with you.
do I have to?
No,
Okay,
you
good.
don't.
All right. All right. Well, I am Aaron Collins, and
I'm Elise Wells.
we're with NW Paranormal. And thank you so much for being with us today on Paranormal Crossings.
We enjoy very much being able to talk to you. And
Yes.
if you have any ideas or anything that you'd like to discuss on the show, please let us know.
Yes. Facebook, Aaron Collins or Elise Wells, or NW Paranormal Investigative Team, or Paranormal Crossings on Facebook.